coming up. If you could only have one game, okay, desert island, you're stuck with one game.
Oh my god. The one game oh my god. If there was a health bar on the wallet, it would be going down and up, proper. But it's proper. It's the struggle that we all have to deal with, and I think those import costs really do hit as well nowadays. But the developers actually said, "Oh yeah, we had no idea what we were doing with Ryza's design. We didn't realise she was going to be so popular." I don't believe that for a second. They knew exactly what they were doing.
They knew.
At one point in time, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I had this habit of literally every time I got paid, I drew my money out and just put it in my room physically. So basically, the account was dead. But I mean, I spent, no joke, 14,500 yen trying to get it. I didn't get it. I had 500 yen left, and I felt physically sick when that night was over. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? I've done something completely stupid. And then obviously that's when you have to be a little bit coy with the supervisors. It's like, excuse me, and then obviously use your broken Japanese, like, excuse me, onegaishimasu, onegaishimasu, kudasai. I was like, no, we'll keep it simple. We're not going to go for the harem route. We'll keep it, faithful to Nijima.
Mate, you got more control than I do. I went for Tai Takemi, the doctor. I went for the teacher. I got Anne in there as well. I got Makoto. I went for everyone. I literally went for everyone I could get.
Oh my god, like fair play.
Life in Japan with the Miyazaki Man. And on today's podcast, I'm delighted to welcome my mate, the Kiseki Nut, a fellow Brit, a fellow weeb, and an all-around sound good lad. Oh, and make sure to subscribe as well to the Kiseki Nut. He surely deserves it. One of the top RPG channels. Absolutely amazing content. Anyway, hello YouTube. It's the Miyazaki Man Sai here. How are you doing? Tomorrow, I might have some groundbreaking news. It's going to be absolutely life-changing if all goes well. I'm sure to announce it very, very soon. It will change the world, baby. Anyway, back to the video. So me and Dom, we talk about all things Japan, his time there, anime, we talk about games, RPGs obviously, but we, between us, absolutely love those arcade claw gacha machines, those UFO catchers, grabbing those toys, flipping those toys, getting those toys, wasting money, all in a day's work. Anyway, check out the episode, you're sure to love it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Miyazaki Man podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by my guest today, the Kiseki Nut. How are you doing, my man Dom?
Hey man, how you doing, Si? Thanks for having me on board. Like, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since we actually managed. What was it? We contacted each other around about Christmas or something. Yeah, before I went to Thailand, and it took forever, isn't it? That's the beauty of having a time difference and a full-time job on the side as well. Like, it's but finally it's happening. That's the good thing.
Absolutely, and I guess something that you can appreciate and everyone else can appreciate, like coordinating these things halfway across the world, because you've actually been in Japan and you're from my neck of the woods back in, the UK. You know what the time difference is like to schedule things, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, don't get me started, like, right pain. And the thing is, we've got the whole daylight savings times as well and stuff like that. So our clocks are actually going to be going forward as well at the end of this month. So, it's going to be about, it goes from a 9-hour difference to an 8-hour difference. Just keeping your head around it is a right pain, mate. But I'm looking forward to the good weather, because we got snow again today, of all things. So, it's a right pain. I mean, well, then again, like, I've seen bad weather in Hokkaido when I was living in Japan, but I mean, we just can't handle it over here.
I know what you mean. It's completely lads on tour mentality over in Japan. Like, even when they find it freezing, we're like shirts off and everything like that, It's really good. Love it. But yeah, no matter where you are in the world, right, the love of similar things never changes. And RPGs, JRPGs, that's what your channel is all about, and that's how we kind of got introduced, how we met. But when I first kind of got in contact as well, or at least in contact for a long time, you were having PC issues. What happened? Tell me about it.
Yeah, mate. Don't even get me started about that. Like, so back in, I think it was about August or something like that. I started getting problems with my old PC, which is, where like the problems started. Blue screens. I did a system restore and everything like that. Tried to figure it out. It seemed to be a hardware issue, so I was like, okay, fair enough. There's a problem there. I want to upgrade the PC anyway. I've wanted to do this for the last year or so, so I might as well just upgrade it, and it'll last me another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Brought all the parts in, put it together, no problem whatsoever, got through post, and then I just started having problem after problem. It was like, first of all, it was, I think, hard resets, not even hard resets, like literally the power just cutting itself off. Then it was getting stuck at post, and that was the real problem, getting stuck at post. I took it to a specialist, they couldn't figure it out for a long time. And eventually one time when they actually gave it back to me, I was still having problems. But I was thinking, okay, fair enough. I can still get videos out by this point, because I think at this point it was like 3 months where I hadn't actually made any content, and I felt bad because I have a Patreon as well, and you know, especially to my patrons who are actually paying, they're paying for nothing, which really weighed on my head as well to a point. So I wanted to try and get some stuff out for them, for everyone as well, just to kind of get back on track and then give it back before I went to Thailand. And then obviously that's when the drive nearly died and I nearly lost everything. And that's when like, thankfully it seemed like I was mostly, you know, light at the end of the tunnel by the time I made the video. But yeah, I was seriously considering just packing it all in at one point, because I was like, this is getting me down, man. What's the point? What is the actual point? But thankfully it didn't come to that. Thankfully it seems to be over now. I'm thankful that everyone stuck around, because that was really good, seeing people, you know, wait and come back and welcome me back as well.
Yes.
And I hope now that I can just keep on putting out stuff that they're going to like. So that's the main thing, really. And I enjoy it too, so that's an added bonus.
Absolutely, and you know what I mean, right? With kind of JRPG following, you're always going to have content. You've got a backlog of stuff to cover. Things are coming out all the time. You do kind of RPG news and roundups. It must have been so frustrating, you know. The backlog is just going to build and build. How do you schedule it? How do you naturally come back? What do you prioritize when you first come back? The fans are waiting for you, and as you mentioned, right? With the patron side of things, obviously, you know, they're getting perks for it, they're paying for perks, but at the same time, I think to get someone to actually open their wallet and support you via Patreon, they're just fans of you, right? Not just of the content and expectations. They'll support you through all the issues. They're aware of what's going on, you know? They're more than just hit the bell icon notification of a video. They probably see all of your kind of commentary posts, you know, community posts. They know exactly what's going on. So, no, I'm not surprised. You've got that Patreon following. It's built up quite nicely now, isn't it? You got a little wedge every month.
Yeah. To be honest, like it's really nice. I always say to people, like, you know, if they want to, you know, be a patron, then they can. I'm not going to hide any content. The only content that I personally will keep for myself is the more personal stuff, like, you know, holidays and whatnot, which I do as kind of ad hoc videos for them. I still need to get that Thailand video done, to be honest, but yeah, we'll get that done soon. No, I've always been thankful for the people who, you know, use their hard-earned money and just are happy to support the channel. That's always been great to me. Like, they're not obligated in any way. I've made that clear many times. Not obligated to do it. So it's just out of the kindness out of their heart, and it's really nice to have. It is nice to have. It is nice to have people, you know, who will actually, you know, how can I say, contribute to the channel or donate to the channel in their own way. Of course, they get something out of it as well. There were the Christmas cards that went out for the high tier patrons, like last Christmas, which I think is a nice personal touch. And it seems like a lot of people like them. And yeah, I mean, the point is that they're being kind to me. I need to reciprocate that kindness to them anyway. I mean, I like to be kind to people anyway, but you know, if them especially, because they don't have to do this. So thank you very much to all my patrons one more time for that.
Yeah, good shout out to all the patrons. Absolutely, keeps you motivated, keeps you going as well. And you can tell just from the kind of vibe from your kind of YouTube channel itself. You know, you're a decent bloke, you're a good guy. You just love games, you love having fun, you like telling it as it is. And did that come across naturally when you first started your YouTube journey? I mean, I assume you always wanted to do games, JRPGs, RPGs, you know, things of interest from the very start. How was your YouTube journey? How did you find it? How did you keep motivated to keep going?
So the channel started initially because I went to Japan, and I was going to vlog my time out in Japan, and then I think after about 7 videos I was like, nah, can't be bothered, don't want to do this anymore, so I stopped. And while I was out in Japan, I just enjoyed my time out there, but I had stopped playing RPGs. I'd stopped playing games in general for around about 3 years by that point, because I had other things to do. I had my masters. I had I had my job beforehand, which was saving up for the Masters, then the Masters, which took up all my time, and then Japan. And to be honest, I was having so much fun in Japan that I had no other time for other things. I was going out all the time. I was, you know, enjoying the job and all this kind of stuff, enjoying the vibes of Japan and being in Sapporo. It was great. And eventually, though, I think it was East 8 was releasing in the West around that point in time, just before I went home. And my neighbor next door was going back to America just for a holiday. So he said to me, because I didn't have a PS4, he said to me, why don't you use my PS4 and you can play East 8? You know, I don't mind that whatsoever. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So played East 8. I finished it in like 5 days. I was absolutely hooked on the game. It is one of my favourite games of all time. I knew of Falcon games before this point anyway. I knew of stuff like East Origin and all this kind of stuff. East Origin was the first Falcon game I ever played, introduced me to their music and their gameplay and their stories, all this kind of stuff. And East 8 was like the peak of East for me. And when I came back, it kind of reignited the spark for JRPGs. So then I played stuff like Tales of Symphonia. And then eventually I found Trails with Trails of Cold Steel, played Cold Steel all the way through, and that was it. You know, history, it was written into history at that point that I wanted to make a channel based around Trails. I played pretty much all of the Sky Arc, Cold Steel 2, Zero, Azure, and then that's when, you know, I started initially focusing on Trails and Falcon, and then eventually branched out to general JRPGs, because I still like JRPGs in general, so I don't want to like limit myself to Trails, even though I love that series. Rather branch out, and it kind of makes it more special when I revisit that series as well, and not get sick of it, so to speak. You know, if you keep revisiting something you love, eventually you're going to hate it. And I think, as much as I hate to say it, that might happen with Trails if I kept on making videos about it. So, no, this is a good balance for me. I can play the games that I want to. I can play all, you know, I can get involved with, you know, the new releases and get involved with the conversations, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and now I'm starting to get more into the retro side of things as well. Because I was a newer JRPG fan. I got involved around the 360 era, so I never played stuff from the PS2, the PS1, or, you know, the SNES era or anything like that. So it's going to be cool to try out all of these retro games that some people consider to be, you know, the golden age and stuff like that. So I want to experience that as well, and I think I can give like a different perspective too on that kind of stuff, in regards to, you know, I don't have the knowledge of these games outside of maybe some story beats here and there. So yeah, it's going to be nice. And I think people will enjoy it as well, because people like seeing people play their favourite games or their childhood games, even if they get ripped on, I guess. And I dare say I probably will rip on a few of them, but, you know, that's just the way it is sometimes.
It's the experience, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. No, I hear you for sure. And actually, like, your East 8, it's that experience is kind of sentimental, isn't it? Because of the fact that he lent you the PS4 to play that game, that certain attachment there, you know, beyond the fact that it's just a good game itself, that must always be, you know, kind of a warm memory, kind of, you know, fond memories of that kind of time and that experience getting back into games. So I want to kind of pose the question to you. If you could only have one game, okay, desert island, you're stuck with one game, that's all you can play. What is the game for you? It might not just be your best game, the one that has replayable factors. It could be different pathways. What's the one game that you would keep with you?
Oh my god, the one game oh my god. I don't know. I mean, like, it wouldn't be East 8, because that would just remind me I'm on a desert island. But I don't have the means of getting off it, so I'm not so sure about that one. Maybe not. Something with, I guess, something that would keep me tided over for a long time. I imagine it would be able to be something that's not going to keep me too stressed out. So something that's not going to stress me out. So something more relaxing. It would have to be something like an Atelier game. I'd probably say something like Atelier Ryza or something like that. You know, that would keep me tided over for a while. I can be relaxed with the whole crafting system and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it would have to be something like an Atelier game. Any Atelier game, but I'll go with Ryza because it was the first one.
Atelier Sophie.
Oh yeah, Sophie 2. Sophie 2. Yeah, I got the. I think I got the art book somewhere down there. Yeah, like I love buying the. How can I say, the goods from Japan, because Japan get all of the better stuff anyway. They get way better stuff in terms of collections.
Absolutely. Exclusive. Yeah, no, you're completely right. Just around me somewhere, I've misplaced it, but I've got that light up prism of Atelier
Oh
Sophie
yeah.
2 because I bought the exclusive pack, and Sophie lights up in that glass kind of prism. It's beautiful,
Hmm.
man. I'm sure that's exclusive to Japan, but it's that kind of thing, isn't it?
I think I have seen one of those. Like there was one that was done for Trail. I think it was Trails into Reverie, where they did one for Altina as
Yeah.
well, and she was in like one of those prisms. And again, it lights up. I think it was a
Ah.
Dengeki bonus or something like that. And
Yes, yeah, that kind of thing.
it was the most expensive one. But I
Mm.
mean, in a way, I sort of regret not buying it. And now I'm looking at
Yeah,
Atelier
that's it.
Marie.
That's
I'm
it.
looking at Atelier Marie because, like in the West, we're not getting physical releases. We're only going to
Yes.
get the digital release. So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
do I really need the physical version of this game with the bonuses, with the retail bonuses, and
Yeah.
all the extra goodies? And to be honest, I probably will say yes. But
Mm.
when you look at the damage inflicted on the wallet, like my wallet is like literally going. It is if there
Crying.
was a health bar on the wallet, it would be going down and up, proper abuse. But it's proper. It's the struggle that we all have to deal with, and I think those import costs really do hit as well nowadays. But
True.
sometimes I just have to
Yeah.
have it, man. I have to have it. So that's why I envy you. You don't have to worry about that.
Well, here you go, right? Exclusive just for you. And we were talking about patrons earlier. So I've opened my own little Miyazaki Man proxy service that I'm already running for 6 people. So,
Oh
like,
yeah.
anyone who wants anything, right? I'm literally just saying, okay, you're my buddies, you're my mates, you're my supporters. I'll buy it for you. I will buy it. I'll store it here. I've got storage facilities as well. I'll pack it properly and I'll ship it to you. So you get it at a retail price. There's no bumps up. All you're doing is you're supporting me by supporting the channel. And I'll get you anything you want because the fact that I'm in Japan is just a time kind of value thing for me, right? And one of the things that straight away someone jumped on, you mentioned Atelier Ryza, good
Mm.
old girl Ryza, the Miss Pfizer with her,
Yeah.
proper
Yeah. Yeah.
meaty legs and whatnot. The soft map bonus for pre-ordering one of the games was this beautiful. Is it Lisa and Ryza?
Is it
Blonde
Lisa?
girl.
I think. Yeah. Like there's what is it the is it? I can't remember which one Lisa is. Was that the Riser 2 bonus or was it the original one?
I can't remember which. All I know was they're in their 90s, showing a lot of thigh in their
Yeah.
skimpies, and it's a beautiful B2 war scroll, and that kind of thing. It's going for like 70 quid nowadays in the
Oh mate.
aftermarket. And someone said, "Mate, buy that for me, get it for me, ship it to me, off you go." So I was like, "Yeah,
Oh,
okay, why not?" And I've got it. I've got it back there somewhere. It's stunning, man. Oh my god, the designs on that game. She's by far the most popular protagonist, isn't it, in Atelier Ryza?
oh yeah. I mean, like she pretty much like I wouldn't say she's made it mainstream, but it's basically like the Persona 5. Riser was
Oh
the
yeah,
Persona
yeah.
5 of Atelier, like brought it to a much
That's it.
like wider audience and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
the developers actually said, "Oh yeah, we had no idea what we were doing with Riser's design. We didn't realize she was going to be so popular." I don't believe that for a second. They knew exactly what they were doing,
They
and
knew.
um,
They knew.
and the thing is, you look at the funny thing is that like the whole fan service and stuff like that. It's not apparently Riser is one of the more tame ones compared to some of the older ones, which is quite interesting to
Ah,
me because, like you say, Riser is the most. I'd say she is the most popular in terms of wider JRPG audiences, but I think the actual Atelier
yes.
fandom, if you go onto like the Atelier subreddit or something, she's actually one of the least favorites compared
Oh,
to,
really?
yeah, a lot of them. I think they much prefer stuff like Meru or Totori or something along those
Oh,
lines.
because
And
they're
so
hardcore, right? They're really hardcore into Atelier. Yeah.
yeah, they much prefer them, and I think Riser's shift in focus, especially with its combat and gameplay, was kind of like I don't know. I wouldn't say a sour. I wouldn't say it left a sour taste, but it seemed to be like a turning point that they weren't too big on, and then obviously it brought on a lot of
Okay.
people who were thirsty for Riser, I guess, in some ways. Like I guess
Yeah.
like me in a way because I can't deny that the artwork did bring me in a little bit at first,
I,
but
I,
I can't.
I know I know what you
I'm
mean.
not going to knock it. I'm not going to knock it because I really
I'm
like
a
the
fan.
series now.
I really, really want to get into that game. Like, how good is your Japanese? Because my Japanese wasn't good enough to really play Atelier Sophie 2 going into the long way. The reason I'm looking down at the moment is because I'm pretty sure I can find that Atelier War Scroll that I was talking about. In lieu of finding the Riser one, I've just found an Atelier Sophie one, which conveniently for our purposes, it's called Atelier Sophie 2 Bra. So I'm really not sure what we're going to get here.
Oh my word! What have we got here?
This is, well, it is as it says on the tin.
That is 100% a
B2.
B2. That's 100% a B2 tapestry from something like Softmap or something like that. Is it from Softmap?
Yeah,
I don't know which one that is. I can't remember, because the thing is, there's so many retailer bonuses and stuff like that. I mean, that's a proper good. That's a proper good one. Stuff like, I don't know, because I don't think I actually got a limited edition for Sophie 2. I only got the art book in the end. But I did get one of the. I did get one of the figures. Which was like, I did get one of the figures, which is downstairs, unfortunately. I've got like hardly any space here, so I have to put some of it downstairs. But yeah, that Sophie figure, I think, was based on her original design. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm looking at stuff like, I say, Atelier Marie. I was thinking about the Atelier Ryza 3 limited edition as well, because there's like 3 different tiers or 5 different tiers of it. And I'm thinking to myself, do I want like the massive combo set, which is like 50,000 yen? Do you want the 30,000 yen one, which is like removing one of the sets? And yeah, there's just so many there. And but the thing is, they must sell, because they keep doing it.
They always sell. They always sell. Speaking of which, right, you just reminded me as well, because you're talking about the high prices. I'm trying not to demolish this tower of random weeb merch.
It honestly looks like it's all going to topple. Like if you move something in the wrong way, it's crazy back there.
You are absolutely tempting the devil here. But I'm going to move these 2 big boxes out of the way, because just underneath here, this is going to be an exclusive just for us.
Nice. What is that?
Here's the Ryza.
Oh my god,
Ryza
it's the Ryza. Oh my god, which one is that? That's the. Oh, is that the Spiritel one? Is that the one from Spiritel? Or
so let's open it. Okay, so I'm going to unpackage this live on our core. This is the Max Factory Ryza 1/7 scale.
That's it. The Max Factory one. Yeah, I remember that one. That was like about 28,000 or something like that. 28,000 yen. It was crazy. Crazy expensive.
It's crazy,
and like, I mean, no, that's a good one. I must admit that box looks really nice as well. I got the I think it was not the Good Smile Company one. I got one based on her Ryza 2 sprite art, which is also very nice. But man, there's some great stuff. There's just too much good stuff, man.
And you know what it's like when you fall down a rabbit hole and your wallet is crying. That is why I knew this thing would sell out very quickly. Yeah. This is actually going as a patron loyalty prize, because I've got 2 of these bad boys.
Oh man, that's sick. No, that's really cool. That is really cool. I mean, what was the one that oh Jesus, there's actually a 25th anniversary one that's going up as well, of Ryza again. Yes, of course it is. Yeah, and I mean, I'm tempted to buy that one with, I think there's like a diorama that goes at the back as well. So it's basically Ryza on a barrel. And then you have, if you pay a bit extra, you also get like this diorama of like alchemy behind her or something like that. It's kind of like bursting out. That looks amazing. I'm half tempted to buy that one as well. But that's like, do I like Ryza enough to buy it? But then on the other side, like you say, it's probably going to just shoot up in price as soon as it's released. So, you know.
Yeah. It's the opportunity cost, right? Rather than do you like her that much, how much will you regret it if you don't buy her later?
Yeah, exactly. That is 100% the idea. I mean, it's not related to figures, but it is related to JRPGs again. Like very recently, in fact, there were some merch was how can I say announced by this American company. I can't remember the name of them, but it's based on Trails again, based on the Trail series, and they were doing 3 character themed. So it was based on 3 characters, and they had a backpack and a watch for each of them. So a backpack and a watch for 3 of these characters. And
I saw your post. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and initially I was like, do I really want... Because I wanted one of the watches. I desperately wanted one of the watches, and they looked really good. But then on the other side, the rational side of the brain was kicking in, saying, no, you don't need it. You're probably never going to wear it. What is the point? So I was like, okay, right. Move away, give it 2 weeks or something. And I remember, I think I was watching, I can't remember her name. I think she's got Orbment in her name or something. She does a lot of collections and stuff. Really good videos. Yeah. And she was doing a video on like Japanese retailer sites that she uses as like a tip for people who want to buy more Japanese goods, and what sites she uses. And she showed herself buying this watch, or buying, I think it was like the Estelle watch she bought in the end. And I was thinking, damn it, okay, she's convinced me. I do want it, and I pretty much convinced in my head, I know I am going to regret when everyone starts getting theirs, because I regretted it seeing her purchasing it. She didn't even have it at that point. She just pre-ordered it. So I was like, okay, there you go.
True influencer.
Yeah, and that was it. I pre-ordered it right there, and I can't wait for it to arrive. And to be honest, it is a watch, so I probably will use it. I mean, it's good enough to use in, the office and whatnot. So when I go to the office, I'll probably just wear it anyway. Other people will look at it and just go, nice watch. Whereas, Trails fans will go, very nice watch, or something like that,
Meaningful. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I completely relate to that, because, like, one of the hard decisions I've got is, like, because you're a YouTuber as well, you stick to a niche, you stick to same keywords, you get the impressions, the organic growth and that kind of thing. But I've never really liked to be kind of contained. So a lot of people doing anime figure reviews and unboxings. I wanted to kind of use a category, right? So I live in Japan. I want to do my life in Japan. And my life in Japan isn't just unboxing reviews. As you mentioned, it's vlogs, right? But vlogs take a lot of time. And when you've got 2 young kids, it's like almost impossible. So, every now and again. But I also do the kind of anime weeb goods. But I love my RPGs as well. And I just did some game shows with some of the other boys in the kind of RPG zone. I want to do a lot of content on Genzo Suikoden, because Genzo Suikoden is my favorite game of all time, and the love of that series has kind of transcended anything that you can ever imagine, especially with the HD remakes, Suikoden 1 and 2 coming out, this year, and Alien Chronicles as well, and that kind of side of things. So I'm really thinking, I want to do the lore, I want to do the backstory, I want to do my own experiences, how it changed my life. And it really kind of did change my life, because that opening phrase, please tell me, is fate changeable, right? And just playing that game, the kind of threads of destiny, if you don't even try, if you don't make the choice, your chance of succeeding is 0. But if you actually try, your chance is higher than 0, and you could do something. You can really change, your life, or change the world, or anything. You might have that one special encounter with one special person. And then from then on, when I played that game, I kind of decided, if I want to do something, like you with the watch, right? And maybe me with my wife now, she's really beautiful. If I don't even try to approach her or ask her, my chance of ever, getting to know her is 0. So I was like, Genzo Suikoden, fate's changeable. Let's just try it, mate. Back yourself.
Yeah, mate. That's what it's all about. Like, you got to, I understand that people now, people nowadays are going to be a bit more. How can I say? What's the word that I'm looking for right here? They're going to hold back a little bit in terms of what they really want to do and stuff like that. But I find that I'm at my happiest when I'm actually doing the stuff that I want to do. Like, for example, for the longest time, for about 3 years, I wanted to get a motorbike license. And I was always thinking to myself, again, rationalizing it in my head, thinking, what are my parents going to think? They're like, my mum's not going to like it. I know that for a fact. Is it going to really be worth it? I'm not going to be able to ride it during, the rain and the snowy periods. But then on the other side, I'm thinking, it's just bloody cool. It's bloody cool to have a motorbike.
Absolutely,
I would love to travel around. So eventually, last September, I went, you know what, let's do it. Let's just get this license done. And I have now. So I've got my license, I've got my bike. And, I'm going to be traveling around come the spring months and the summer months. I'm really looking forward to that. And when I go to Japan, I hope to rent out a bike for Hokkaido as well, and then go around there as well. That's the plan.
So, they love their bikes here.
And there's nothing better in my mind than traveling on bike. There's just nothing better than traveling on a motorbike. It just feels great. You have the wind going by you and all this kind of stuff. There's just a sense of freedom that you can't really explain. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how much it's going to be. It'll probably be like, 20,000 yen a day or something stupid like that. But I'll take the hit. I don't mind.
Of course, because it's freedom. You feel alive. When you're on a motorbike, you feel alive, properly alive. And especially in Japan, where everything's beautiful around you, and you know the destination you want to go there, but the things along the way are also beautiful. That's going to be a heck of an experience, man. I can't wait to see your feedback on that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Like I say, Hokkaido. Obviously, we discussed that I should come down to Miyazaki as well. You obviously you've mentioned that you are big on Miyazaki and stuff like that. You're literally called the Miyazaki Man, so that makes sense. But you told me like it's the best food, the best people. I want to see it. I'm down for basically checking anywhere, so I'll definitely come down for a few days and then and then obviously Japan has the very convenient bullet train to take you right back up to wherever you need to be in a couple to 3 hours or something like that. So yeah, I'd be down for that and check it out.
Yeah, man, you've got to come for sure. So if the timings work out nicely, my house that I'm planning to build this year, if permanent right to remain, the visa passes and we get the land and permission and all that kind of stuff, just towards the end of the year, I'm hoping that we could hopefully move in. I don't know how quick it was, but it kind of told us around 7-8 months kind of time. That means that we will have a guest room available. You can just lodge up in the guest room, save some accommodation costs, bring an empty suitcase, and get all the goodies you can find, and up you go. Travel up north with all your goodies.
No, that'd be cool, mate. Oh my god, that's the thing. Like that's another side of it. I have to hold myself back at the start of a holiday because it's like, what is the point in getting all this stuff at the start of the holiday and lugging it around for the rest of it when I could? But I mean, obviously, Japan is so convenient. I can just send it on like a Kuroneko service or something and send it up to Hokkaido, and it'll be there within a day half the time. So, I mean, the only downside is that I'll probably have to take 2 suitcases with me, but it's whatever. I mean,
you will anyway. You will get 2 suitcases.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, Japan's got everything that I ever want. That's, people, I've got people at work who ask me, why do you go to Japan all the time? Why don't you go somewhere else? Or, why don't you go to like Finland or whatnot? It's like, because Japan's ticks every box for me. Like, it has the best food, it has the best people, it's got the best environment. I feel safe there. It's got all of it. It basically caters to my nerdy side, which I'm sure you can attest to as well. Everything's there, man. Like, it's like, how can I say? It's not. You're not really holding anything back when you're out there. Obviously, you're not going out there to just be an absolute degenerate or anything like that. But you're going out there to enjoy what you enjoy. And Japan does it all for me. Like, and it's other stuff as well. It's like the hot spring culture, the cherry blossom viewing, everything. To seafood. It's all perfect for me. So I don't mind.
It is.
I don't mind going that distance, man. So no, it's good.
For sure. It's how life was meant to be. That's the way I put it, right? Living in Japan or experiencing Japan or going on holiday to Japan is really how life was meant to be, because if you want to do expensive stuff, you can do expensive stuff. If you want to do cheap stuff, you can do cheap stuff. If you want to go to the beach and nature, they have it along the suspension bridge and Amazon forest. You want to go skiing, Hokkaido, king crab, snow, ice peaks. You want technology, Tokyo. You want activities, there's activities to the brim. This is how I compare Japan and England, right? Because obviously, we're British boys, right? In Britain, what do? You go out with your mates, you go out to the pub, you might go to the park, you go to town, you go on a bender or whatever. But then what's beyond that? That's kind of it, right? You have maybe house parties or whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, like, it's literally as you say. I mean, like nowadays, especially being in my 30s now, and my friends, we all got work to do and stuff like that. We barely get time to see each other half the time nowadays because we've all got our own, how can I say, lives that we need to lead and stuff like that, our own families, and there's. Like you say, there's very little that you could actually do. There's not much in the way of like geek culture in the UK. It seems to be kind of like pushed under the rug. For example, like when I was into stuff like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, there was only one local store in my area, which since closed down. So there's nothing like that in my area unless I go to somewhere like London. I don't want to go to London for something like that. You don't get stuff like Comic-Con. Well, you do get Comic-Con, but that's only in London. And in terms of like retro game stores or RPG stores or anything like that, there's not much around. So, when you go to Japan, you basically get the whole thing just kind of, well, you're spoiled for choice in terms of when you go to Japan, and that's the great thing about it. So, over here, you're starved for it. It's that kind of acronym that's you being in Japan. I'm watching a person. I'm a man dying of thirst, watching another person drown, or something along those lines.
That's the right acronym. That's the right one for sure. And you know how dangerous it is, right? Everywhere you look, there's something fun, something exciting, something you can do, whether it's food, activities, or shopping, or whatever. But your wallet, you were talking earlier, your wallet is crying. You want everything, and you can't afford everything. At least, probably can't afford everything, but you want to buy it still, and you will get it eventually.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, don't even get started on that. I mean, that reminded me of a time when, because when I was teaching in Japan back in 2017, They basically, I started as an alternate, so I came halfway through the school year.
Okay.
So they wanted me to basically just cover other teachers and stuff like that and go to events
Right.
and whatnot, you know, as like a backup teacher if need be. So most of the time I was doing barely anything. But sometimes the downside was that I had to be very flexible because they would call me up to go like to different places and
Yeah.
whatnot at a
Any given
moment's
time.
notice. Yeah, and one time they wanted me to go to Sendai, so from Hokkaido to Sendai for like an English camp or whatnot. So I was like, okay, fair enough, no problem. So go down to Sendai. We were only there for about 2 days, and I took. At this point in time, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I had this habit of literally every time I got paid, I drew my money out and just put it in my room physically. So basically, the account was dead, like there was nothing in it. And I was like, okay, right, how much am I going to need for 2 days in Sendai with everything already paid? The only thing I'm going to be buying is like maybe some dinner or some lunch. Maybe, you know, 15,000 yen. Okay, 15,000 yen, we'll take that with us. The rest stayed. So we go to Sendai, and I'm walking. You know, we had like the evening to ourselves, so everyone was going their own ways. And then come late at night, you know, some people went back to the hotel, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to have a look around the high streets and stuff like that, just for a little bit. And I saw a Taito station across the road, and by this point, I was getting into the crane games. I wasn't very good at them, but I was like, you know what, I'm going. Yeah, I decided to go into it, and went to the top, and you know, these figures aren't exactly like high quality or anything like that, but at this point I had done very little in the way of figure collecting, so I was like, yeah, let's see if I can find anything good. And I saw a Rem figure in one of these ones that had like this is when I was into ReZero as well, and it was one of these ones which you didn't have the bars across. Like, I don't know if you can picture it. You basically, there was no bars across.
I know.
Yeah, it was one of these ones that had like a little tab on the top with a hole in it, and the whole point was to kind of like drag it off slowly. But the actual material is adhesive, so it stops it from moving too much. But I mean, I spent, no joke, 14,500 yen trying to get it. I didn't get it. I had 500 yen left, and I felt physically sick when that night was over. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? I've done something completely stupid. I went back into the hotel room, just crashed back on the bed, and again, I just couldn't believe it. When I woke up the next morning, I checked my wallet just to make sure. Like, nah, that was a dream. I didn't do that. And no, sure enough, I had 500 yen left, and I couldn't believe what I'd done. And ever since that point, I stuck myself to a 2,000 yen limit on that stuff when I went. And it worked, because eventually I got better and better on it anyway, and, you know, I still, you know, won the figures and stuff like that. And that was fun. That was fun for me to do. But no, I never wanted to be in that situation again, and I never drew my money out again either. I left it in there just in case something like that does happen. That's a classic case of your impulses taking over and regretting it immediately after. One of the worst feelings.
Rookie mistake. As soon as you withdraw that money, right, you're basically saying, I'm spending that money. Because once it's out and it's in your room and it's available in your hand, and you walk around in Japan, it's gone. It will go one way or another. And I love how you said kind of crane games, UFO games, right? Because that's exactly the same as me. When we first came to Japan again, like 2 years ago, literally I was taking my son out to these crane games. It's not Taito Station in Miyazaki, but all the places where there's these UFO grabbers, right? My second ever video, apart from the first intro to YouTube, was how to win all these claw games cheaply, because I must have spent like 20,000 yen every week playing claw games. It's just me and a little man going out and about, you know. It's just, when you got the itch, and when you start winning, especially when you start winning and you start learning how the machines work, right? You're like, I can do this. 500 yen, guaranteed to get that. Sometimes you win it cheap, and then sometimes the odds aren't in your favour and you haven't got the right technique or luck, or you got a 50-50 shot and it bounces the wrong way, and you're like, no, just another 1,000 yen, and then you drop in a hole.
Oh mate, like that, it's the worst feeling. Like I say, after a while I got pretty decent at it. I could get a figure in about 1,500 yen on average. This there was one Fate, I think it was a Fate figure. I think it was it wasn't Saber, but it was like an alternate version of Saber in a red costume or something like that. Nero. It could be
Brits,
Nero.
the red
Yeah,
one.
it's probably Nero. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, must have that. And it was a big chunky box, but I was like, no, I can get that. I can get that. And so I put it in. It's one of those bar ones as well. So I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, all I got to do is just kind of get it to its side, move it back a little bit, get it to its side, and then it will fall right down. And I managed to get it at like an angle where it was kind of like in a diamond kind of shape, so to speak.
Yes.
And
I can picture
only,
it.
yeah, from my viewpoint, only the corner was hanging onto the bar. So I was like, okay, cool. All I need to do is just dislodge that corner, and it's off. After about another 300, 400 yen, I dislodged that corner, and it somehow managed to lodge itself in such a way that it was just like kind of sloped on the bar. Pretty much the death moment. You cannot move it at that point. I was like, oh, for God's sake, man, I've just wasted my money again for no reason. And then obviously that's when you have to be a little bit coy with the supervisors. It's like, excuse me, and then obviously use your broken Japanese, like, excuse me, onegaishimasu, onegaishimasu, de kudasai. And then and it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Then just leave me alone. I'll put it in a nice, easy way for you. And then eventually I did get it. But yeah, it's an interesting world to say the least. But I tell you what, I don't regret it at all. I'm going to be doing it when I go back out again as well.
I'll bring you on a tour of all of Miyazaki's finest UFO spots, and we're gonna bring the empty bags, and we're gonna lug a load back, because by the time you come back, right, your passion, your thirst for, you're like, bring me to them right now. We'll spend a whole day out and see what we can get.
I'm so down, man. I'm so down. Like, I'm so down for it. Like, I mean, like I say, it's been years since I've done it. It's been years since I've done it, so I'm probably completely out of practice. But I don't know. There's just an itch there. There's just an itch that just it latches on the most primal part of the brain, and you just can't knock it.
It does. Well, you know what? Right? We do a video. We'll do a vlog video. We each go out with 100 quid, and then we see what we can bag that day.
Oh yeah, that'd be great, man. Like, I'd be down for that all day. I mean, I'll be taking about 2 grand out with me, so 100 quid is what, 15,000 yen or something like that, and we'll see what we can get. Yeah.
And you know what, just for you, that's really my passion for it again, because I've tried to limit myself monthly. I'm going to make a video, like a top 10 tips video, just to remind you, you're going to get the flashbacks here, how to win those different toys and different UFOs, like this massive, the Unkos, right, the kind of turd toys.
Oh, bloody hell, kind of yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
They're everywhere. Like, when you grab that thing, because it's so big and so heavy, like this is a massive turd, it just drops as it is. So I found that the claw itself was so hefty, instead of trying to grab it, you just drop it on the side of it, and the bulk of the claw just keeps knocking it towards the entrance. So you just keep hitting it, the turd slides over, and then when it's nearly over, then you just go underneath it, and try and flip it over like a pancake. And then it's that kind of thing, you kind of build up these little knowledge tips as you go along, right? It's not as it all seems. Sometimes you have to think outside of the box on how to actually, work the system so that you kind of get the end result of it. And you know that sometimes the system, they can change the settings in there. Sometimes it's like nicer, sometimes it's a bit more dodgy, right?
So, oh yeah. Like, I remember there was actually a bloke who, again, it was the figures, and there was a bloke in there who, he was basically filming himself doing it, and you could tell he was an expert. He knew what he was doing, and he won. He must have won about 5 off of this one machine. And eventually, he was asked to move away, and they changed the claw settings on it. And he didn't even bother. He didn't even bother to go back on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it as well, because I knew, you know in your head, they've weakened those arms. They've changed those arms to make them weak as. And you just got to be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. And sometimes you got to know when to give up as well. It's like, no, that ain't moved at all. Forget it. We'll move on to something else. So like you say, you pick up those little tips, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, it's going to get me back in the mood. I mean, it's only about 6 months until September. Plenty of time to get prepared.
That's it. I'll prep some videos up just for you, and you're going to get that fire back, that urge back, and maybe the game has changed slightly, because I actually got a mate that works in one of those arcade stores, and he told me some of the settings, right? So some of them, like, progressively, as people put more money, it will just grab stronger, which is linear, straight. Yep. Some of them are like, it will only give you a strong grab 1 attempt every 5 shots. So you have to, on the 5th attempt, you'll get a legitimate one, otherwise you just let go as soon as you're up. And then you got other ones, which are really, really mean. They can actually control the claw to spin around. So
oh yeah, I see
it'll
that.
spin around in
I see
awkward
that.
angles.
Yeah. You see it go
Yeah,
down. You see it go down. Like especially with the ones with the two arms, they'll go down and then they'll like
yeah, yeah,
move ever so slightly to the left or the right,
yeah.
and then you're like, hold on a second, I see what's happened here, and then you have to kind of get your
Mm.
head around that. Like that actually worked in my favor one time. Like there was one when I went back to Hokkaido in 2018, the last time I went to Japan, they had this. They had this method instead where basically you had a little stick that came out and like a
Yeah,
rubber ball on the end and then a plastic tab on there, and your goal was to basically knock that plastic tab off, and the gate, and then
yeah.
once it's off the gate will fall and then the prize falls down with it. And
Oh.
that was actually quite easy for me because like it was all about the
Mm.
precision side of it. You had to basically go on each
Yes, the
side and
skill
make
shots.
sure that you're
Yes,
just pushing it side on side and side, and that was easy for
yes.
me. But like I say, if you're not accounting for the arms actually moving, you're just going to hit the ball and it'll just go straight back up without you even
Exactly.
realizing. And
That's it.
yeah, they're cheeky sometimes, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, what do they say? The house always wins. It's literally a casino, but
Yeah.
for weebs. So
I know, and it's perception. As long as you're perceptive and you kind of got like game knowledge and you know what you're doing, you can kind of, if you really want to win something, you can do. But sometimes the odds aren't in your favor, and you know when to walk away, right? It's just control that kind of urge. And for weebs, they got very little control.
yeah, mate, we got so little control. I mean, we're literally talking about all of the stuff that we've bought and stuff like that, and we got no room, and our wallets are
Yeah.
going down in the incinerator. But I mean, I don't regret it at all. I don't regret it at all.
No, for
So,
sure.
you know,
No,
it's
you work hard. You got to enjoy life, right? You got to enjoy life.
exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not hurting anyone except for yourself, I guess.
Mm.
And I mean, I don't know. When I look at the stuff, I derive quite a bit of pride from it as well. I mean, I can only imagine what it's
Yeah,
going to
fun
be like when
memory.
I get a collection like that behind me. But you know, I mean, I'm dying to get like some of those display cases and stuff like that when I've bought my
Oh
own place
yes,
and all
yeah,
that. Getting
yeah.
some display cases because I've got so many figures downstairs that I
Yeah.
just want to display. I just don't have any room for them. So
You're
you
right.
know,
You're right. Like you wouldn't envy my position. This is like a rented second flat, a second apartment. Because basically the missus said, "Chuck all your boys' toys out of the house, we're not
oh
out of
no,
the flat." And I can't even walk. Like if I was to move my camera, I'll show you offline. If I was to move my camera, I've got no horizontal or vertical space. Literally, I'm climbing, tiptoeing over crap that's everywhere on the floor. You can see the boxes stacked.
yeah, mate, it literally looks like it literally looks like you can't move. I said it before, like it literally looks like it's one box away from completely collapsing. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
completely
think
destruction.
that's pretty cool. I
Completely
mean, I'm
destruction.
trying to actually gauge what is behind you there because I can see a Fire Emblem figure like right in the
Lynn.
middle. Yeah, Lynn, that's it. And I think that one's a pretty good one. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
seeing. I think it was Ken had that one, or he
Yes.
pre-ordered it. And
Yeah.
Ken's been on some of my videos as well. I've been on his videos. He makes great videos anyway about figures. I think he was the one who actually got
Ooh.
me into it in the first place. Um, but I mean, yeah, there's some others. There's some. I'm trying to see what else is
My
there.
favorite here, Cordelia from Fire
Oh,
Emblem.
Cordelia,
My
yeah,
absolute
yeah.
favorite figure.
That's pretty cool.
Love me some Cordelia. But yeah, she's proper badass. Just on the side, away from shot. Let me grab. So we've got Mr. Joker from
Oh
Persona
yeah,
5.
Joker, yeah. Persona 5, of course.
Yeah, good one.
Did you get any of the
Good
Kasumi
one.
models?
Yeah, so I've got a pre-order for the Kasumi one, exactly the same pose in her Phantom kind of thief get up as well.
Yeah.
And I've got a out of shot. I've got Anne as well.
And yeah.
Who else? Makoto.
Makoto. Is
I've got
it the
one of her-
Makoto? Is it the Makoto with the bike like Johanna? Because I remember they.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean. I didn't get that one because I missed out on a pre-order, and her aftermarkets are really expensive. So
Yeah.
the two that I've got, I think I've got the dancing one, and then in her battle pose. So unfortunately, I missed out on the
Okay.
one with the bike.
But that's the thing, the one with the bike, they actually put back up the pre-order very recently. I think they put the pre-order window back up. So I don't know. Maybe it went very quickly. It was like 33,000 yen, so it is one of the more expensive ones. But I heard that they
see that one,
changed a
yeah.
few things on it, and I guess maybe it's already sold out, or you know, the pre-order window's already closed, which I can't blame anyone for because it looked
Possible.
amazing.
It is, it is. She's very, very popular, right? She's the kind of archetype in Japan that a lot of Japan guys go for. So
Yeah.
she's kind of like the confident, strong, slim, short-haired woman, independent woman. A bit, they like their woman to be strong,
Yeah.
strong and a little bit bossy, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
like
interesting kind of vibe.
I think, to be honest, that makes sense completely. I mean, if you watch, for example, like one of the most popular anime ever in DBZ, like literally
Oh yeah,
the blokes are with strong women. You know, like obviously she's a
that's
badass
true.
martial artist. Bulma doesn't really care about what she says. You know,
Videl,
Videl is basically a martial artist. You know, they all go for like the strong
18.
women. So maybe it's a thing in Japan. Obviously, in the West, we're more about people like Futaba and stuff like that. The whole neat kind of thing. So it's like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
fair enough. Futaba's a good character, but I don't see it. I actually did go for Makoto in the end when I went on my Persona 5
Oh.
playthrough. No, they're all good characters. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think it was Makoto in the end that I went for, and yeah, I could see
Only
it.
Makoto. Did you control yourself and only go for Makoto, or did you get your little harem going?
No, it was only Makoto. I was half tempted with oh, what's her face? I can't remember the names of them. It's the teacher
Doctor.
who's also the maid. Um,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
I
remember.
bought her figurine. Her figurine's very hard to find, but I bought her
Yeah,
figurine, pre-ordered it. It's on its way. What's her name?
I can't remember her name.
Sawada Chica,
So I don't
Or
something
something.
like that.
Sawa
Yeah, like
something.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
she's the
like her.
maid.
I like her.
I remember seeing like the anime scene of it as well in the past. I thought
Mm,
it was just hilarious because the Joker from the Persona 5 adaptation is
yeah.
literally like the worst choices every single time. They're like the Joker in that one is using all of the bad
I
choices,
know.
and it just makes it look hilarious. But yeah, I was half tempted to go for her as well. I was like, no, we'll keep it simple. We're not going to go for the
Mm,
harem route. We'll keep it, faithful to Nijima.
mate. You got more control than I do. I went for Tai Takemi, the doctor. I went for the teacher. I went for, is it
Oh
Ona
no,
or
yeah,
something
oh
like
yeah,
that. The chess. Yeah,
yeah,
I went for the chess player, the reporter. I got Anne in there as well. I got Makoto. I went for everyone. I literally went for
oh
everyone
my,
I could get.
oh my god, like fair play. I mean, like we got the best of both worlds there, really, haven't we? But I mean, at the end of the day, I
Yeah,
mean, it helps enrich the experience as well. You get new skills and whatnot. It helps you out, so I can't blame you for doing it either.
absolutely.
So no, I mean, good
Oh,
game, good game. I will
speaking
say
of
that.
which, I'm always right, always very thankful for all my guests for joining the chat. So as a special thank you, I always offer up some gifts, right? So
Oh, thank
we
you.
just talked about Persona 5. You let me know which one of these ones tickles your fancy. So we've got a nice little Persona 5 cast here.
That's pretty cool, I
So
must say.
that's a nice little water.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good one. We also have, if you like your protagonist, this one is from Tales, I think Tales of Vesperia. I know it may not be one of your favourite ones, but I like
No,
little
I
Yuri.
won't. I won't like it. I mean, I like Yuri, but I don't like Vesperia, and I feel like it'll be sacrilege if I
Yeah,
have
I
a
remember.
B2 tapestry of that behind me because people say, "Hold on a second, you said you hated Vesperia."
Exactly. For merch, you're a traitor for merch.
Yeah.
Persona 3 3D
Oh,
poster.
that's
So
pretty cool.
this is a
That's
nice one.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like my Persona as well. Or our favourite little blue lion from Fire Emblem, Dimitri
Dimitri,
Acrylic Stand.
that's pretty cool. I mean, for me, it has to be the P5 poster
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I thought it would be. B.
Yeah, yeah,
Persona.
it has to be that.
Yep. Well, coming your way, my man. Coming your
Thank
way,
you
Dom.
very much, mate.
No worries, no worries at all. Man, we've only literally just scratched the surface of
Yeah.
stuff we could talk about because we've gone so much into Japan, right? That literally I would usually be happy to go on for like 2 hours, but I've literally got a big work meeting in like a minute.
It's all right. It's all right, mate. Yeah,
So
no worries.
yeah, man, we've got to jump on again because there's so much we need to talk about in terms of the games, in terms of channels. But just as a final note, and we'll expand on it on the next one. This will be a cliffhanger. If you could pick one soundtrack from an RPG game to take with you on an island, which soundtrack has a music that you could listen to for the rest of your life? Which soundtrack?
Okay. Well, I'll bear it in mind then. This is for the next episode, yeah.
Good man. This is for the next episode. Yeah.
Right. Okay then. So when I'm next on, I'll bear that one in mind. I'll write it down somewhere. I'll write it down somewhere. So so one song that I would take onto a desert island that I could
Not a song,
listen
a
to.
soundtrack. A game soundtrack.
Oh, a game soundtrack.
A whole OST.
Oh,
Yep, a whole OST.
That's easy then. That's easy then.
You already know?
Yeah, I know immediately. That's easy then. So game soundtrack.
Good man.
Good man. For Desert Island. Yeah, I know that one exactly. So that's no problem, mate.
Cool man. Now, before we jump onto the next episode, anytime you're down for chat, man, I'm absolutely loving this chat. It's bringing so many good memories back. We're on Discord, anytime you've got 5-10 minutes, just hit me up. We'll jump on the chat and then we'll arrange the next one, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, mate. All right. So,
cool.
No, it's been great, mate. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for your time. And yeah, we'll speak very soon, yeah? Cool. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Catch you on Discord.
Have a good day, yeah? Yes. See you later.
Alright lads, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. It really helps me beat the algorithm, get this video seen. Please give the channel subscribe as well if you haven't seen it already. Speaking of which, I'm making loads of exciting videos coming up very soon. Let me know in the comments below if any of these tickle your fancy. I'm going to be making these and many more. I'm also going to be running some exclusive polls with thumbnail options on my Patreon, £1 a month. You can vote on the Patreon, help support the channel. Thank you very much, Ultimate Squirrel, Gaming Shelf, Captain House, David Vince, Zygo Gaming, Tendai, Master Killer, Rondi, Sophia P, Insufficient Yogurt, Mark C, James Y, Coben, Trey T, Don P, Alex M, Ash W, and Suntan Superman. Your support means the world to me and everyone else as well. Really big news coming up. I've got loads and loads of exciting content to make, really just finding the time to edit it, but all your help to support the channel really means the world to me. I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. Until next time guys, peace.